Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and I just dropped my youngest son off at one of those like indoor climbing gym birthday parties, and the parents were like, no, y'all go, you don't have to stay. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. So there's a Home Depot across the street, and I believe they have in all their spring planted bulbs. So let's go inside, let's see what they have. Let's see the things that I've grown, whether I've succeeded or failed in those. And then if I purchase any bulbs at the very end, I'll do a haul on all of those bulbs. Okay, so I've purchased from big box stores many a times for bulbs, spring bulbs, fall bulbs, all kinds. I've had lots of wonderful successes and lots of failures as well. So I'm concentrating on a few things this year, specifically lilies and calla lilies. Those are my focuses. And gladiolas, I forgot. I'm also going to do some gladiolas as well. So those are my main focuses this year on what I'm wanting to grow bulb wise. For the lilies, I'm wanting to actually put them in some raised garden beds. For the gladiolas, I want to grow them in grow bags packed really close together. And for the calla lilies, I'm wanting to plant in the actual garden beds. So let's go see what they have. Now, this is not my typical Home Depot. I think everybody has their own places that they like. They got a lot, y'all. Let me just do a slow scan to show y'all. Now, one thing I had a good time doing in the fall was comparing varieties at several big box stores and where they were from. We compared mainly prices on like tulips and daffodils. And it turns out they were all basically from the same company. And the prices varied. Walmart ended up being the least expensive. Lots of the onion sets, potatoes, sweet potatoes, strawberries. Lots of that to start. We're not going to talk about that today though, y'all. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ones that I have grown myself in my own yard. So the first one we have is the Echinacea Green Twister, and I have grown this from seed and from root. The seed actually did better for me. Hold on. The seed actually did better for me, but when I bought the root, it was later on in the season. You definitely want to buy these earlier in the season. So this is a pack of 2 for $6. I will say that I thought that these would be prettier for cutting. They're not so pretty for cutting. They're great for a garden. They do great with the sun, but definitely not a cutting flower like what I was hoping for. These say that they're 24 to 48 inches tall. Mine is going into its third year, and it maybe got 24 inches tall last year. Definitely nowhere close to the 48. Definitely a summer bloomer. But yeah, and then planting these, not cuttings, but basically roots or tubers or plants is not too hard. They give pretty good instructions, and if not, you can definitely get on YouTube. I'll definitely show you guys how to plant some of these. I've also grown hollyhocks, and I've grown them from seed, and I've also grown them from the already rooted plants. And I am no longer growing them because every time I was getting to a really good place with my hollyhocks, I got really bad rust fungus on them. And it was just so exhausting. I finally ripped all of them out. But I wish I could grow this without rust fungus issues. So I've grown several clematis from the plant starts, from basically like this is like a plug almost. And they definitely take a couple of years to really get going, but I have really enjoyed them. The Jack Monty is not one that I grow, but it's supposed to do really well in this particular area. So full sun to partial shade. Height is 12 to 20 feet. Early summer bloomer, climbing vine, large blooms. But I wouldn't mind planting this. I've been wanting to plant something like this, below my red Don Juan climbing rose, and I would love for the purple blooms of the Jackmani to intermingle and climb up the climbing rose. I think it would be absolutely gorgeous. I don't necessarily think that they both bloom at the same time. I believe the clematis blooms first, and then the roses bloom after. Now, I've also grown a stilbe from rooted cuttings and haven't had great luck with it. I don't think it does especially well in our area because it needs a certain level of shade. But I do have a shade garden this year, so maybe that'll be fun to try. It's 4 for $11, and partial shade to full shade. Height is 18 to 24 inches, summer bloomer, excellent for cut flowers, and it is really excellent for cut flowers. I've designed with these in the past in the floral company that I used to work for, and they're so fun and unique and really kind of lacy feeling. There's a few more hollyhocks down here. Hostas. If you're someone who started a hosta from like one of these cuttings, these plants, let me know. These look like pretty much all the same ones. Just repeat it again. They just have a lot. I'm going to just basically go through the ones that I've grown before. Now, I recently did a project with amaryllis. So if you're someone who wants to do one of those amaryllis projects that I just did, you can still come pick these up. Go ahead and start them inside and they work great. I will be doing a video on how I'm going to plant my amaryllis bulbs out in the garden this year and go through that whole process and see if I can save myself some money that way. The varieties they have is just a generic red, pink, and white. Now, I've grown lots of caladiums, which are really, really fun. Well, for me, the varieties I've grown are actually, I've grown Blaze, which that one was a really fun one. It was very bright. Partial to full shade, height 8 to 12 inches, summer to fall foliage, great in borders and containers, long lasting color, and it's 5 plants for $11. I have not grown the candidum, or the Florida cardinal. I have grown the John Peed, and it's really pretty. It has an intense green color, which I really like. So it's $11 for 5. Partial to full shade, 12 to 24 inches tall. This is taller than that other one. Summer to fall foliage, great in borders, containers, and long-lasting colors. And here's just a mix that you can get. I have also grown the rosebud, and it was beautiful. I put all of these in some containers and put them on my front porch, and they turned out beautiful. Partial to full shade. This one's a little bit shorter, and 12 to 18. So it's kind of nice because you can like take like 1, 2, 3, and this is like a staggered height. So like a tall, medium, short, which is kind of cool and would be neat in a planter. Now I've also grown canas from roots like this. Last year I grew like, I believe it's called Miss Oklahoma. And it did okay. I don't love it, and I do not plan on planting any additional canas at this time. But maybe someday again we'll check it out. Okay, so I have grown lots of the dahlias, and I've had not great success, with the exception of this guy, Color Spectacle. This guy has been in the ground like, this might be its 4th year coming in. Never have to dig it up. It gets bigger and better every year. It withstands all of the hot weather of Texas, and this tuber, this Dahlia variety tuber, has been great. So full sun, 24 to 48 inches tall, summer to fall blooms, great in borders, containers, excellent for cut flowers. So you can get 3 of these for $11. So if you're someone who's interested in starting dahlias and you're in the North Texas area, this would be my suggestion on the variety, because I've just had such awesome luck with that. I have started Arabian Night, it died. I have started Duet, and it died. And I have started Lavender Perfection, and shocker, it died as well. All right, this one is like a Humpty Dumpty mix. That's kind of fun and interesting. It's a shorter variety. That's interesting. And a jumbo mix. These probably look like they're much taller. I wonder if these are dinner plate sizes. But I'm not going to be starting any more dahlia tubers. I actually started dahlias from seed this year, and they are all sprouting like crazy. So they look amazing, so it'll be fun. We'll come back to some of the gladiolas in a minute. So down here on lilies, there's the tiger lily orange, which is beautiful. I have grown this red rock lily, and it is 20 to 28 inches tall. Summer bloomer, excellent for cut flowers, great in borders containers. I would say the red is very spot on for the level of red that it actually is. Stargazer, I have not grown Stargazer, but I probably should. It's beautiful. And then they've got some oriental lily mixes and some additional gladiolas. All right, it looks like we have a whole lot more varieties of caladium. I have not grown this one, Carolyn Wharton. If any of y'all have grown these varieties and you had really great luck with them, let me know. I would love to invest in some more caladiums because now that I have this shade garden, I think that'd be fun. Postman Joiner. This one's beautiful. I love the idea of these like white and green variegated leaves in my dark shade garden. How beautiful would that look? And here's a calamix, which is something that I have grown, but I screwed up last year in that I put it in a container and then I forgot to water the container and it literally like dried out. So this is a set. You get 5 of the tubers or corms or bulbs, whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure which they're known as. I'll put it below. $15, so 5 for $15. Full sun to partial shade, 18 to 24 inches tall, and we definitely want that higher number. If you're looking at one that's like 10 to 12 inches tall, that's a little too short for cut flowers. Late summer bloomer, great in borders and container, excellent for cut flowers. So this might be a really fun one to start. A couple more varieties of canna. Elephant ear, which is definitely something that I've been interested in growing. Look at that, mama. This has a big cut in it. More dahlias. Haven't grown any of those varieties. Canna. Elephant ears. Gladiolas. Back here are there more like premium bulbs. So you've got all the caladiums. Again, you've got a blaze, a blend, candidum, a rosebud. Canas, here's the color spectacle. These are a little bit more expensive. So I feel like these are potentially a better quality. Gladiolas. Oh, I have grown this lily, Black Charm, before. It is stunning. Actually, I wouldn't mind having more. And this one is 24 to 48 inches tall, summer bloomer, excellent for cut flowers. More Stargazer. Oh, look at the licorice combo. That's fun. Y'all, shut up. Okay, all of these are labeled as cut flowers. These are all dahlias, y'all. And lilies. Wow. Okay, a couple of things I'm going to point out. Mom's Special. This one did last me a couple of years, and I still have one of these tubers that comes back every year. It only gives me a couple of blooms each season. So if you're interested, that might be a good one for the North Texas area. I have not tried that. I have tried Lady Darlene. Did not go well. Let's see if there's any other ones. These are beautiful. How fun. Specifically grown for cut flowers, like all of these bulbs. So many beautiful bulbs. If you haven't grown a lot of dahlias in the North Texas area, don't go spend a ton of money on this right off the bat. Take your time, go through things, figure out what you like first, and then go from there. Try a few and see how they do in your garden. Now, I'm stuck because there's a big cart here, so let's see if I can move that. few more varieties over here. The packaging is so spot on. Here's the color spectacle. These are definitely way bigger tubers, y'all. So the more expensive it is, the bigger the tuber. This is a massive tuber. This one's just beautiful. I will not buy dahlias. I will not buy dahlias. I will not buy dahlias, y'all. This packaging really gets me though. Okay, so that's all the dahlias. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull out the varieties that I am interested in getting, and then at home I will go through what I purchased and talk about why I purchased each one and what my plan is for it. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I ended up getting 5 different varieties of bulbs. So what I wanted to do is show you the ones that I purchased and talk to you about why I purchased them. I definitely could have gone crazy at Home Depot, but I am notorious for forgetting to plant my bulbs, buying them and then just forgetting about them. And don't worry, the tulips are getting planted this weekend. For all those who remember, they're still in my refrigerator. So I didn't want to go super crazy with it because a couple of things. I'm growing so much from seed this year. So much from seed, and that's really my focus because that is more cost effective for me. So the bulbs, while I love planting bulbs, it's just not one of my main focuses this year. Now for the bulbs I am interested in growing, I am interested in growing gladiolas, I'm interested in growing lilies, and I'm interested in growing calla lilies. I did not pick up the calla lilies at this particular time. I might go back for those once my budget cycles into February. So probably something along those lines. Bulbs I am, bulbs or tubers or rhizomes or bare rooted plants. Okay, so that was a mix of all of those at Home Depot. The ones I'm avoiding this year are dahlias and peonies. Dahlias because I'm growing a whole bunch from seed, which almost all of them have sprouted back here. Growing a whole bunch of them from seed, and I've had just such poor luck with the dahlia tubers in the past. And then peonies, I fall for it every year on the peonies that I'm going to go ahead and buy it and then I'm going to grow it, and it takes so long for the peonies to establish themselves that it's not for me, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to avoid them at all costs right now. I've had lots of successes and failures with Home Depot tubers, bulbs, bare roots, all of that. I will say the failures, I chalk those up to more knowledge based. So my experimenting and learning what works best and how to actually, plant and use those products. So one thing I do encourage you to do is to really kind of figure out what plants grow well in your area before you go and purchase a whole bunch of these things from Home Depot. Tips for buying bulbs at some place like Home Depot. The first is buy them early. Like as soon as you're able to buy them, go ahead and buy them. Because for places like Home Depot or big box stores, they have tons of stuff and they'll leave that product out forever and ever. You want to buy them the freshest bulb possible. So at the earliest point in time you can buy them, and you want to get best pick, because definitely when you're picking up bulbs, you should definitely be squeezing, checking them out, seeing if they're in good shape. So you'll get the best ones if you get them at the beginning of the season and can choose from the most amount of bulbs or tubers there. Now, tip number 2 is checking the packages, just like I was saying, squeezing to make sure the bulbs feel nice and firm, that they don't feel spongy or rotten. Same thing with any of the tubers that are inside the packages, really just kind of feeling in there. Does it have, it doesn't feel too dry, doesn't feel too mushy. You can even smell them, which sounds weird, because you can smell when they're rotted. So that's something to really they should just smell like fresh garden soil. So that's something that's really important to think about when you're looking at something like this. And third on the list is kind of tying back to what I was talking about. Make sure you're buying things that are appropriate for your space in your garden. Just because the bulbs are out at Home Depot or Walmart or Lowe's or whatever, doesn't mean that they're appropriate for your location or your garden. I don't think as much attention is paid to that as you would think. And so while I was very excited about all those dahlias, they were absolutely beautiful, and the way they were packaged is great, I knew that I don't grow dahlias well, and they don't grow well in my garden. So that was very important for me to remember, or I could have just dropped $100 on dahlia tubers in a heartbeat. So that's my third tip, is to really go in there with a list, really do the research, and make sure you're buying things that are appropriate for your location and your space. Okay, so let's talk about the varieties I ended up choosing. I chose 2 massive bags of gladiolas. I went for quantity on these. So it was 50 bulbs for $14.98, and I got 2 different mixes. The first mix is a pastel mix, and these are full sun to partial shade. The height is 50 to 60 inches tall. These are summer bloomers. These are great in borders or container and excellent as cut flowers. I'm really wanting to grow a lot of gladiolas this year. Specifically, I'm going to be growing them in grow bags. I'm actually going to start all my tulips in the grow bags, and then once the tulips are done blooming, I'm going to pull them and I'm going to add fresh compost and add gladiola bulbs really close together, because I'm just going to be growing the gladiolas specifically to be cut. The other mix I picked, I would say, is more of like a brighter color mix. This one was the pastel, more brighter tones, and it was 50 bulbs for $14.98. Also full sun to part shade, height 50 to 60 inches tall, summer bloomer, great in borders and containers. And I will definitely, when the time comes to plant these, I'll definitely be doing a video on them. Next, I picked up 3 different varieties of lilies. I started growing lilies a few years ago, and I had always tucked them into different parts of my actual garden bed. But then last year, I actually put them directly into my raised bed and loved it in my raised bed. So I would like to add on to that this year. For one of them I picked up, it's a tiger orange lily, 5 for $10.98. These are full sun to partial shade. The height is 36 to 48 inches tall, summer bloomer, vibrant color, great in borders and containers. And I really, really liked the double look of this tiger orange lily. I thought it's absolutely beautiful. But I really enjoyed designing with lilies last year in my cut flower arrangements. Now, I did want to point out, a lot of these bagged ones, like the tiger lily was available in 3 different options. This one was 5 for $11, and then the next one was like 3 for $10.98, and then the next one was like 2, you know. So they had some different basically varieties where I feel like the more you're paying, the better or larger size that the bulb, tuber, or bare root is. The next variety of lily is called Pink Romance, and there's 6 in here for $10.98. And these are full sun and to partial shade. Height is 18 to 24 inches. Summer bloomer, excellent for cut flowers, great in borders and containers. And this really does look like some type of stargazer lily situation, more of an oriental lily versus an Asiatic. The next one I'm going to talk about is an Asiatic lily. And these will be really fun. These are all perennials in my area, so all of these will come back every single year. And then the last variety I got is called Nettie's Pride, and I was just really struck by its really contrasting colors. And it is 7 in here for $10.98. These are full sun to partial shade. Height is 36 to 48 inches. Summer bloomer, excellent for cut flowers, great in borders and containers. And this is definitely an Asiatic lily as opposed to an Oriental lily. Oriental lilies they're just more I would say flair to them. They tend to be larger. They have wavy edges sometimes. I feel like more dramatic. And the Asiatic lilies are a little just more simpler on their petals, simple shapes of their petals, and on a smaller scale. So I will definitely be doing a video on posting the different varieties of lilies as well. So I'm super proud of myself that I didn't lose my mind and buy all the things. I'm very proud of myself for that. I think that was really, really good. I'm really excited that for 30 bucks, I have 100 gladiolas. That is very exciting to me. And they're going to be super fun to plant up. And then I was very happy with the amount of lilies I got per package as well. I cannot wait to get those planted either. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's little tour of Home Depot, seeing what they had available and the prices, me talking about the things I have grown and whether they've been failures or successes, and then coming back to the house and going over the varieties that I ended up purchasing as well. So hopefully I've been able to provide some information on basically my failures and successes. Hopefully some of that information will be able to help you all out in your own gardens this spring. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you guys like, every time you guys comment, it helps grow my channel even more, and I really appreciate you taking those few moments to do that. And you can check me out on social media, including Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I have been doing pretty good posting on YouTube community, so which has been kind of fun because it's just, I feel it feels a little bit more casual than all my other social media outlets. So that one's been kind of fun. So make sure you join me on there so we can chat and share information about our gardens. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.